What's up, people, and welcome to a very satisfying video. And I don't dunk on people very often, but this has got to be the biggest L I've seen in a while. So everybody that's in the Warhammer 40k hobby probably has heard the female Space Marine argument once or twice, or every other day, every other week, every other month. It's never ending. It doesn't stop. It's just constant. Especially on the internet, on social media. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll give it a quick rundown because it's not what this is about. Well, it kind of is, but not like that. Games Workshop has laid out throughout most of their core books, novels, codexes, everything. And they've stated multiple times that Space Marines are only male, can only be male, and it only works if they're male. Now, of course, you have the crowd, the we need more representation crowd, arguing that, well, why don't you have female Space Marines, even though they say you can't do it? Well, they've already outlined why you can't do it. They've already said it can't be done. They already said we're probably not going to do it ever. But yet, the argument still occurs nonstop, all the time, 24/7. Until I saw something today that honestly hurts their argument. Now, Warhammer 40k, in terms of diversity, it's there. You have black characters, you have Asian characters, you have men, you have women, you have specific factions, such as Space Marines, all men. You have the Sisters of Battle, all women, right? With the exception of a few auxiliary units, I believe, that have male models in them. But they're not considered Sisters of Battle. As much as they want to use it as an argument, not the same. It's the ecclesiarchy. They're not Sisters of Battle. Sisters. Sisters. Okay? Now, one of the champions of this female Space Marine argument is Mr. Inclusivity himself, Cerberus XT, which, if you don't know who he is, then you're lucky. He's basically this Antifa-loving diversity Frenchman that paints Pride Marines and basically hates anybody that doesn't go along with his ideology. Cerb has been one of the biggest mouthpieces saying, hey, we need female Space Marines. We need more women in the hobby. We need more inclusion. Yes, we need it. But, you know, sometimes people let the mask slip, right? Now, if you say, I want more women in the hobby, what is this? This is what the anti-female Space Marine folks are afraid of. Big, muscly mommy. Now, I had to censor this so I can make this video. Now, tell me, Cerb, how does this attract women to the hobby? In fact, you rarely see the anti-female Space Marine crowd pushing for things that don't exist and probably will never exist, and then doing something that is actively going to hurt your argument. Because if I were a woman and I saw this, I'd think that you might have some sort of Dami muscle mommy fetish. And that's the only reason you want the thing that you keep screeching for. Now, people are going to be like, oh, well, this is a joke. It's not a joke. We all know it. It's not a joke. This is what they want. This is exactly why they want it. Right? There is no other reason to keep pushing for something so hard 24/7 and say it's because we want to bring more women into the hobby and then do shit like this. Right? If I'm pushing for something, I'm not going to do something that's going to actively turn off the people that you're trying to attract. Now, it might attract a couple degenerates based on this, but yeah, it does nothing for your argument. It does nothing for your cause, which I hate fucking saying that this person has a cause when it comes to a fictional universe that people like or love. And it's all so tiresome because you see it nonstop, and no matter how much evidence you throw at them, no matter how much you refute every argument, no matter how much you sit there till you're blue in the face and say it's not going to happen, they will find a way to call you all sorts of names. They will find a way to say, oh, you're wrong, they're going to do it. they'll find a way to say, oh, it's the changing of the market and you're just a bunch of bigots that don't want this to happen because you hate women. Well, fun fact, I'm married. Most of the people that don't want female Space Marines are also married. Another fact, my wife doesn't give a flying fuck about female Space Marines. She still likes Warhammer. It's all this facade to cover up what these people really want, which is right here in front of you. That's what they want. That's why they want it. That's what it's always been about. Now, it would be disingenuous of me to say that there is an art like this already of other factions like Sisters of Battle, but guess what? Sisters of Battle exist. People can make up all the headcanon in the world that they want to about the Sisters of Battle. Why? Because they're a thing. And, you know what? Even if you wanted female Space Marines, most people are going to say, kit bash them, right? Take little bits from other things and make your own. 3D print them. Who gives a fuck? But no, they want it because they want to win. They want to win the argument so bad they can taste it. They want to win. They want to be able to stick it to the chuds and stick it to the bigots and, you know, it's a win for diversity, equity, and inclusion. No, that's so hollow. It's shallow. And at the end of the day, most of the people arguing for this thing want them for the reason that we're all sitting here looking at. Right? Me? I'm married. I could give a fuck less what they do with art when it comes to any of this stuff, you know? And it's just, it's so satisfying when the mask slips sometimes, because Cerberus will sit there all day long and say that he's arguing with the bigots and the fascists and all these other people. You can't even say anything about that guy in nine times out of 10, depending on what Facebook group it is. You can't even give him any sort of criticism. You can't talk bad about him. You can't say anything about his paint jobs. You can't say anything about his ideology. But over here on X, it's free game. So what does he do? He blocks everybody that gives him any sort of criticism. He blocks anybody he deems as a chud, or anybody that even refutes any sort of arguments that he puts up when it comes to stuff like this. And you know what? That's fine. I really don't give a shit. But the one thing I do give a shit about is when you're a big fat fucking hypocrite and you're screaming about how you want to bring women into the hobby and you do shit like this that tells me you really don't give a shit about whether or not women are in the hobby. You know how I got my wife in the hobby? I got my wife in the hobby by telling her about the lore, explaining things to her, and actually creating interest of things that already exist. I don't have to say that I'm pushing to, win an argument by creating something that she doesn't want. Why? Because the stuff to like is already there. Right? And people will say, oh, well, we just want to make it better. Okay, how? How does screeching about this one thing every single day make the hobby better? Tell me. Oh, well, no, he only gets hate because he paints his minis in pride colors. Yeah, sometimes. But he does it to get a rise out of people. He's not doing it because he likes it. He does it because he knows it's going to piss people off. There's quite a few miniature painters out there that do that. For exactly that reason. To score points with their own side and to piss people off. Again, me personally, and 9 times out of 10, the people that I associate with or talk to, don't give a shit how you paint your minis. They're yours. In fact, I have said that many, many times. I've even said I could give a fuck less if you kit bash female Space Marines. I don't care. What I do care is when you're constantly tagging a company saying, hey, you need to do this. These people are bad. You need to do this. This thing is bad. Hey, you need to do this because I don't like this. Why are you even here? Why do you even like the hobby? What's the point? And then, again, if you're trying to bring people to your cause, if you're trying to bring people into the hobby, what kind of people are you trying to bring in with this? Right? Like, this is what the anti-female Space Marine folks are afraid of? No. Because, first of all, if women did become Space Marines, they'd probably look androgynous. Those big-ass double D milkers that the artist gave this headcanon would be non-existent, and they'd probably look like guys. Right? If you want to go by existing lore, and the process, that's exactly what would happen. So, I just think it's ironic that these people screech about how we need more diversity and more women in the hobby, and then turn around and do something that is kind of fucking degrading in my eyes. Because if it were me, I would completely be against you and be like, no, you're a fucking weirdo. And I'd probably go with the other folks that are going, hey, you're a fucking weirdo. So, thanks for watching, everybody. Until next time, I hope this makes sense. I find it just so stupid. It's exhausting.